The difference between the two, let's be honest, it's minuscule. The fire rate is slightly increased on the Mara, and it has 3 extra rounds in the magazine, meaning it has magazine of 8. Apart from that, they're basically identical weapons. I kind of use mine more like this, though honestly I need to form a dash in here so I can dump in that, because then it'll have 12 rounds, and trust me, those extra 4 rounds do come in useful. But at the same time, maximum ammo is a more long-term mod for it. I only managed to get 64% status with this, but it is a radiation-based weapon. I've basically added viral, and the reason I've always ran this as more of an elemental weapon is because, let's say you're going up against the Corpus, you can always swap it over, and just like that, you've got 1100 magnetic. It's still doing gas, and it's still doing radiation, though the radiation has gone down a lot. And you can always throw it back and have the same thing. I can swap these round and have 1000 blast, 1000 corrosion, and the 940 radiation damage this thing has anyway. I always just swap these round to differ depending on what I'm going up against. I do prefer the corrosive blast radiation build though, which is what it is now, simply because, okay, it's only 1100 corrosive and 1100 blast, but it literally, it'll knock them over with the blast, do damage to their armor with the corrosive, and make them fight against each other with the radiation. And this was kind of a really nice compromise for what is actually a pretty decent weapon. For all sense of it, you have to remember this is a very short range weapon. It's a shotgun secondary, so close range is pretty much the best thing for this. At range, it does kind of suck rather badly. The added 3 rounds over the normal one are this thing's main selling points, because the 5 rounds, you had to have the ammo in there. The, not Trick Mag, the other one. And it was just, without it, it sucks. Because the 5 rounds just isn't enough. The extra 3 rounds was enough to take out most things. I still prefer the Brack to the Detron though. Even the Mara Detron kind of falls short. But that's just down to personal choice more than anything else. This was a hell of a good weapon when it came out. It's still really good if you are using a really long range weapon, like a sniper rifle, and an enemy gets too close to you. Sometimes a sniper rifle at close range is a really bad idea, so you need a pretty powerful secondary, and that's where these come into play for me. And in them kind of circumstances where you can get close enough to the enemy for it to matter, yes, this is a hell of a good weapon. But for most of the game, not really, because you're just constantly having to run up to enemies to shoot them. So for defense missions, great. Mobile defense missions, things like that, they're fine. Exterminate, spy, it's no use, because you want to try and keep enemies at range. You don't want to get close enough to them where they will knock you down and basically kill you. So in that factor, it kinda sucked. Which is a damn shame, because a year on from this first arriving, I think it's like been a year, just over, since this first turned up, and it is still as good now as it was then, in the right circumstances. Against the infested, this thing is a beast, because the infested will run up on you and you just pull this thing out and they're already close to you. Against most other factions, unfortunately, it's good, but the fact you have to get so close is the massive downside to this weapon. That, and I think if you put on the primed one for the added ammo, it adds 1 round.